Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new edition Alumni Spotlight. He is now a professional basketball player for Hapoel Afula, and of course, you know him from your John Jay Bloodhounds. That's Mr. Doug Levy, former CUNYAC Player of the Year. And Doug, one, welcome back home, and two, now knowing that you're a professional basketball player, how does that sound to you?
Well, first, thank you for having me on, John. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Being a pro, it feels like something that's been a long time coming, so it feels right. It doesn't feel like something new. You know, I'm just going and doing the same thing I've been doing since I've been in college.
Now, for you, you had the opportunity to play overseas in Israel, became an Israeli citizen over there as well. Before we get to the basketball side of things, culturally, what was it like to move away from home overseas, acclimate with that culture, and then also have to be a professional basketball player?
So the first part, which was definitely the hardest, was the language barrier. Even though a lot of Israeli people learn English in schools when they're growing up, it's not obviously their first language. They speak Hebrew. So I had to try and learn as much as I can in a short amount of time as possible. But that was definitely the hardest part, just trying to communicate with people. But the culture, the country is beautiful, like great country, and the food, oh my, like so good.
What was your go-to dish?
So there's a thing called shawarma, which is basically shredded chicken in like a pita type wrap with a whole bunch of like vegetables and stuff in it. And I was probably living off that for the first 2 months, at least, like every day.
That's awesome. What is it like to be in a camp with other professionals who, you know, are at your level or better than you? And I'd imagine the competition is also fierce.
Right, yeah. So that's the one thing I noticed right away. All my teammates when I first got there, they are super competitive. Like every little thing, even off the floor, like you can tell that it's just kind of how they're bred. Because being a pro, nothing's guaranteed. It's almost like college, but just amped up a ton. So you're basically thrown into the fire and you got to figure it out right away.
Now, your team had a little success, got to the semifinals, lost in a 5-game series. What is the energy like amongst the fan base there? And then one, just playing for a professional fan base, and two, as you guys continue to progress, I'd imagine there's a more palpable buzz and a chance that you guys can win. Right.
So I'll piggyback off that question a little bit too, because when we first got there with Corona, there was no fans for the first half of the season. So I didn't really get a chance to experience that fan base, the Israeli fan base yet. But once Corona started like coming down a little bit, and the crowds were fully like packed, and Israeli culture, they tend to bang a lot of drums and like play a lot of horns and stuff. So can't hear anything. The gyms are not as big as say like NBA arenas are, obviously, but there's a lot of people in a little space, and they play a lot of noise and bang on drums all game. So you literally can't hear anything, but it makes the energy so fun. And it's such a great environment to play basketball in.
Now, let's bring this back to John Jay a little bit. How did Coach Highland and the John Jay basketball program prepare you for moments like that?
So Coach Highland, and I'll include all the coaches that have been at John Jay for when I was there, they really helped shape me in terms of the intangible things. A lot of the things that can go wrong with some pro players is that they can't really do all the little things correct in terms of mindset, in terms of ego, in terms of other little things like off the court that really do affect how you play on the floor. And that was Coach Highland's always his mantra is you got to have a good personality, you got to get along with your teammates, and all those little things. I think that's definitely what I took the most from John Jay to the pros, and that honestly helped a ton with my first year.
Now, you're not the only pro that is coming out of John Jay, Jason Brower. And when you saw Jason Brower playing at John Jay, did you think there was pro potential there? And how happy are you to see his success?
Oh, no doubt. When I first started playing with Jay, I could have told anyone right away he was going to be our leading scorer. Like he's just a baller. Like he's just one of those guys that you can tell can just put the ball in the basket and defend, and he's also got size. So I knew right away he was going to be a pro. And it's one of those things we talked about. He works so hard for. He works every day, day and night, and he was just waiting for his chance. And me and him talked about it, like just staying ready, because it can happen at any point. And I was really, really happy to hear when he got with that team down in Puerto Rico. And I know he's going to do great things.
And you guys had a pretty awesome encounter too. You coming back and I guess meeting up at JFK.
Yeah. So the day I came back to JFK, I arrived at about 4:30 in the morning. But I was informed that he was taking off from JFK to Puerto Rico at 8 a.m. So I was like, oh, he might be here when I get there. And I land and I texted him right away. And I was like, are you at JFK? He's like, yeah, I'm waiting terminal right now to like go inside. And I'm with my mom who picked me up. And I told her, I was like, we need to go see him now. Like it was like meant to be, it felt like. So I went around and I got to see him and right before he left, and it was so cool. Such a great moment. That's
awesome to hear. So, all right, Doug, last thing. What are the next steps? Are you planning to go back next year, shopping around other places? Are you a free agent? How does it all work?
I think I might end up on another team next year, but we don't know. A lot of things could change in a very short time. I don't have a ton of information on it.
Okay, no problem. We'll leave it at that. Have to ask that. But Doug, always a pleasure. We're rooting for you all the way from New York City. And yeah, man, just keep it up. We're very happy for you.
Thank you, John.